The subject of life after death is a very delicate subject. If we consider the amount of people that do not believe in life after death, there are those people that believe that when we die, we stay in our grave until Christ return, and we will resurrect from our grave in a physical body, but it will be a perfect physical body that won't die. This belief indicates that there is no life after death when we die. And there is this belief in reincarnation, which is divided into two groups. One group believes that we will return in the form of animals as punishment. This is called transmigration. And the other group believe that we will return in the form of human beings, but it will be repeated until we become perfect beings. Both groups of reincarnation deny the existence of life after death. And there are those individual beliefs, like a well-known New Zealand theologian named Lloyd Gearing, who said that he believed that the soul is not immortal. He believed that the soul is not immortal. And there is this well-known Swiss professor named Dr. Auguste Forel, who wrote to Abdu'l-Baha and asked Abdu'l-Baha if he can embrace the Baha'i faith while still entertaining thought as a Muni, which believe that the mind of man and the physical brain is inseparable. And so when the physical body and the brain of man dies, the mind dies with it. Abdu'l-Baha wrote him a tablet, and it is a gem. I commend it to you to study this tablet of Abdu'l-Baha to Dr. Auguste Forel. Shoghi Effendi explained it as one of the weightiest ever written by Abdu'l-Baha. So you can see there are so many people that believe or align their belief with these beliefs. So I'm going to present the Baha'i view on this subject, and these Baha'i views are not an affront to those other beliefs. We do not argue our point, and it's not a challenge to other beliefs. I'm simply going to convey the Baha'i belief on that subject. Our reality is our spirit or soul, not our body. Our body is a combination of elements. Therefore, it is necessary for it to decompose. Decomposition is an essential necessity of composition. An essential necessity of a thing cannot be separated from the main thing itself. For instance, the essential necessity of fire is to burn. You cannot separate burning from fire because it is its essential necessity. The essential necessity of water is humidity and fluidity. You cannot separate humidity and fluidity from water because they are its essential necessities. So decomposition is an essential necessity of composition. And you cannot separate decomposition from composition because it is its essential necessity. So our body, which is a composition of elements, and it is necessary for it to decompose because decomposition is its essential necessity. Our spirit or body or soul is not a composition of elements, so it's not necessary for it to decompose. Therefore, our spirit or soul lives on in life after death, after the decomposition of our physical body. We see that everything that is lower cannot comprehend and understand that which is higher. The higher state, which is superior, is where man is, and the animal is in the inferior state or a lower state. It is impossible for the inferior to understand or comprehend the superior. It is impossible for the animal, however much we train an animal, to understand the abstract knowledge of man. However much we train a monkey, will never understand the abstract knowledge of man that the earth orbits around the sun. Will never understand the abstract knowledge of man that the earth orbits the sun in 365 days, 5 hours, 48 minutes and a fraction. But this lack of understanding of the animal does not prove that man does have a abstract knowledge and understanding that man possesses. It's just that the animal is in an inferior stage, and it's impossible for the inferior to understand the superior. The materialists argue that no one has died and go to the next world and live the next life and come back to tell us what it's like. There's no physical evidence of the next life. So we can put forward this explanation that the next life or life after death is in a superior stage, and this life and the materialists are in the inferior state, and it is impossible for the superior to be understood or by the inferior, and it's impossible for the inferior to understand and comprehend the superior. But that lack of understanding of the materialist does not prove there is life after death. Besides, life after death or the next world, according to Abdu'l-Baha, is not a place. A place is limited, but the next world is unlimited. Place is confined to sizes, but the next world is placeless. There is wisdom of why the next world is not shown to us, and this wisdom is explained by His Holiness Baha'u'llah in his Gleanings. The second to the last page of Baha'u'llah's Gleanings, he stated that the mysteries of man's physical death and of his return have not been divulged and still remain unread. By the righteousness of God, were they to be revealed, it would evoke such fear and sorrow that some will perish, while others will be so filled with gladness as to wish for death and beseech with unceasing longing the one true God, exalted be His glory, to hasten their end. I put myself in that position. If my life in this world, if I was a bad person in this world, and my life in the next world is shown to me, it would evoke such fear and sorrow in me that I will perish. And if I was a good person in this world, and my reward in the next world is shown to me, I will be filled with so much gladness as to wish for death, and I will beseech with unceasing longing the one true God, exalted be his glory, to hasten my end. I can picture me in that state. When you are in that state, you see this world has no meaning anymore. You see this life as a heap of dust, and you don't like to spend a single moment dwelling in this heap of dust. And if what I'm beseeching to God to grant to me does not come sooner, I will probably do the deed with my own hands. These are my own words. These are my own reflection of this statement. It's not from the Baha'i writers. It is this state that Abdu'l-Baha said that caused the martyrs to rush to their death. Thank you, and I wish you well. Whaftai lava, manuela whafongfong, maimula whasau sangasamo, soifua.